I've been posting short form content, all right? TikToks, Reels, Shorts, whatever. And my most successful show right now is Guess the Band. It's pretty self-explanatory. I show someone a band, they have to guess the band, and I did a metalcore edition. And holy shit, man, the comment section went to war when I put Kublai Khan under metalcore. Right now, I'm still getting notifications of people arguing in this Armageddon, all right? Half the crowd is saying they are metalcore, the other half, they're not metalcore, so I got a good idea. Today, I'm gonna break down the different flavors of metalcore for you, okay? Because I think the problem here is people don't understand metalcore is not just Spirit Box or Bad Omens. Metalcore kind of became an umbrella term, and that's why a band like Kublai Khan and a band like Spirit Box sound completely different. But with the help of the video Fixing Metalcore by Varvis, shout out him, I decided to make a visual chart, okay? Here, I made a Metalcore Spectrum chart. Now, I know it's ugly, all right? Trust me, I'm aware, but I just thought it'd be easier for people if we had some sort of visual. I can't believe how extra I'm being just to prove that Kublai Khan is metalcore. This is what happens, man. My ego gets in the way and I have to do a second channel video on it. But it's fine because I think it's a fun conversation and I think I can actually assist in the conversation. So let's get into it, and keep in mind, I will make this as easy to understand as possible. I want it to be extremely digestible. I'm gonna make it all easy, and a part of that is because I'm not a musician, all right? Even if I wanted to make this conversation complex, I don't have the ability to. And you're gonna notice there's a bunch of space here in the middle, and that's because I wanted to give some room here for you guys to get involved if you want to add your own bands on it. I'm gonna leave a link in the description of this template and go ahead and delete whatever band, add whatever band, whatever. Let's just get into it. So here we have 6 different flavors, okay? We got metallic hardcore in red, mathcore in pink, gentcore in dark blue, mainstream core in light blue, the dark ages core in green, and melodic core in orange. So let's go ahead and start with red. So metallic hardcore. This is where Kublai Khan falls under, all right? Along with Earth Crisis, Code Orange, Jesus Piece, Knock Loose, all right? These are all bands that are associated with the hardcore scene. Why? Why are they associated with the hardcore scene, but Attack Attack isn't? That's because it's hardcore music, but with metal influence, all right? You'll hear some riffs, you'll hear some breakdowns. They're influenced by like thrash metal and like groove metal and shit, and like even death metal. Earth Crisis being one of the first metalcore bands, and then again, we go all the way to today where we got bangers like Kublai Khan, Jesus Piece, Knock Loose, Code Orange. Yeah, the ballsiest metalcore can get. Then here we have mathcore, all right, starting with Converge. Then we got Botched, Dillinger Escape Plan, The Fall of Troy, See You Space Cowboy. I know Fall of Troy and See You Space Cowboy, they could kind of fall into other genres as well, but just for the sake of this video, I think they're great examples because these are 2 bands that you, again, will see in hardcore bills. But this is metalcore that's a lot more chaotic, all right? You're gonna hear a lot more technicality instrumentally, all right? The guitars going crazy, all right? Doing like off-tempo shit, and just it's very chaotic, it's very heavy, and here you're gonna start seeing a little separation from the hardcore kind of sound. This is a genre that's tough to bop your head to, all right? Because it's gonna be one tempo in some part of the song, and a few bars later it's going to be a completely different tempo, and you're going to be confused in the best way possible. If you like chaotic shit, this genre is for you. And I think it's worth mentioning, like vocally, this is when we start hearing like more high-pitched screams and things a little closer to I don't want to say traditional metalcore, just future metalcore genres we're about to touch on, but you'll start getting singing that's a little cleaner as well. Here we have Gentcore, all right? We got Northlane, Monuments, Volumes, Architects, Spirit Box. So here's a classic video. I always love this video by Steve. This pretty much explains the gent sound. Go ahead and listen. I hate to cock block the video, but yeah, that's the gent sound. It's typically that kind of guitar work, but they'll have like some technical shredding involved sometimes. And gent isn't really a genre per se. Again, it's just a sound. It's a specific sound, but these are bands that basically just like use and abuse the sound in a good way. I'm not talking shit. You'll hear it in their breakdowns, you'll hear it in some verses, and it's just a fun thing to listen to. I feel like gent is right before prog metal, because I feel like progressive metal nowadays, you know, the meme, prog metal is just metal for other guitarists, right? And this is digestible progressive metal in my opinion. But these bands, you'll hear a lot of clean singing, you'll hear a lot of breakdowns, you'll hear faster shit, right? Like this is the point where we get super far from metallic hardcore, because mathcore here, there's still hardcore influence, and you can definitely hear it, especially in Converged, you know, being some of the OGs of mathcore. Here you have mainstream core, I like to call it, also known as octane core. This is basically metalcore that is as digestible as it can possibly get. Pop song structures, verse, chorus, breakdown, chorus. And this is shit that's way more radio friendly, and these are great gateway bands, all right? Like, love or hate mainstream core, it's okay to like it, by the way. I know a lot of people shit on these bands and the people that listen to it, but at the end of the day, enjoy what you want, all right? Music is subjective. Just because I personally don't like Beartooth, it doesn't mean you have to not like Beartooth, all right? Listen to whatever the fuck you want. But we do have Beartooth, Rain City Drive, Sleep Token, Dayseeker, Bad Omens. Notice these are all bands that are pretty popular on TikTok as well. Well, for the most part, I haven't really seen Rain City Drive or Beartooth all that much on TikTok, but to be fair, I'm also not really on that side of TikTok, so maybe you know more than me. But yeah, these are just radio friendly bands that there's a lot of clean singing involved, and it sounds like this is the evolution of the Dark Ages, which we're about to get to in a second. It's definitely not the furthest we get from metallic hardcore, because I feel like the Dark Ages core is definitely the furthest. Here we have Asking Alexandria, Woe Is Me, Attack Attack, I See Stars, and I included Ashes at Last here because this genre is pretty much dead until Ashes at Last, who they started being like super active, what, like last year or something? And I call it the Dark Ages core because it's basically when metalcore became electronic. You have like the synths, electronic breakdowns, you have EDM influence, heavy auto-tune, and this is the point where we get extremely far from metallic hardcore. And a lot of bands in this era, they evolved to either mainstream core or gentcore. This is more of a specific period of metalcore we saw, which was like what, like 2006 to 2012 or some shit. Maybe I'm just pulling those numbers out of my ass. It feels like that era. It might be that era. But then we have melodic core. This is basically WWE music, all right? So mainstream core, this could be the gateway for like today's crowd, but melodic core was basically the gateway for the people in the past. Here you have Avenged Sevenfold, Bullet for My Valentine, Trivium, Killswitch Engage, All That Remains. This is basically when metalcore kind of became mainstream. The music gets a little bit more shreddy. It feels like this is like Guitar Hero music. And the clean singing, it's not like the clean singing you'll hear in mainstream core, where it's just like very pop and R&B influence, and it's just like you have to have a pretty voice. This is like, they sound like regular ass dudes. This is like hell yeah brother shit, in my opinion. Again, like Guitar Hero, WWE, entry level metalcore that makes you feel cool to listen to because you don't know any other metalcore bands. I'm not trying to rip on them so much. This is just like my least favorite out of all of them. Again, you can listen to it, it's fine. But yeah, you'll get like melodic deathcore influence, and it's just more melody involved using the guitar work. And here things get a little catchy, but again, not like mainstream core catchy. I guess the reason why I keep comparing these two subgenres together specifically is because they're kind of similar, but just different eras. And I'm not saying sound wise, again, it's just mainstream core are gateway bands for people now, melodic core are gateway bands for people in the very early 2000s. With all that being said, yes, Kublai Khan is metalcore, and so is Knock Loose. Surprise, surprise. But of course, all of these bands, I'm sure I don't have to say this, but just because a band says they're a specific genre, it doesn't mean they're pigeonholed into that genre. Like Kublai Khan and Knock Loose, using them as examples, yeah, they're metalcore bands, but they have a lot of beatdown songs. They have a lot of hardcore songs. It doesn't mean every single album or every single song is metalcore specifically. And I want to point out, one of the comments said, as someone that's seen Kublai Khan 4 times, I think I have the right to say that they're a hardcore band. Like, brother, shut the fuck up. Just because you've seen a band X amount of times, it doesn't mean you can categorize them in a specific genre, nor pigeonhole them. And that's the thing, like, at the end of the day, bro, who gives a fuck? If you're gonna be a genre snob, at least get it right. I am a fan of subgenres and naming specific sounds, specific names. And the reason for that is because if I want to listen to Converge, right, and someone's like, oh, that's a metalcore band, I don't want to go home, look up metalcore and hear All That Remains. Like, no, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for mathcore bands that sound like Converge. So I think genre is important. However, I don't think it's so fucking important that, like, you got to be a snob about it, because at the end of the day, all of these bands fall under metalcore. All right, you don't got to be a prick. Bring Me the Horizon. They're a band that started with deathcore, then went to metalcore. Now they're on hyperpop. What would you categorize them as? Are they still a metalcore band? Probably not, but at the end of the day, if I call them a metalcore band, who gives a shit? You're not gonna call them a hyperpop band, but it is what it is. What would you have added? I'm sorry that I'm not like super musically intelligent, all right? I wish I could have explained this a little bit better, but I feel like I did a decent job at demifying it and trying to make it as digestible as possible. What bands would you add? And again, feel free to add it. Link in the description to download this template and join the Discord so you can send it there, and I'd love to see your thoughts. But for now, you can click right here because yesterday we spoke about furries being banned in hardcore. It's absolutely insane.